Um, somebody's feeling like, I don't know. I feel like somebody doesn't like that all their business is coming up on my table, but it's kind of like if you would stay out of the collective's energy, like if you don't come towards someone, or if you're not sending negative energy, if you're not thinking negatively, if you're not speaking negativity, if you just totally ignore the collective's existence, then you wouldn't come up in the collective's readings. I don't know if they get that. Like, why are they, if they, how do they know? They don't know whether or not, I haven't, come to terms with apologizing. Yeah, as long as you haven't apologized, it's clear. You know what I mean? It's kind of like there's no mistaking that. It's kind of like it's clear that this person hasn't because they haven't. That's what everybody else sees as well. It's kind of like, did you apologize? No. Do you see the dilemma? This person's under the impression that it's useless, it's wasteful. Oh, okay, let them live and learn. Because what I understand live and learn to mean in its totality is that, like, you will see. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to experience what it is that you're saying you want to see before you make your step. Okay. And then again, at that point, it's too late. It's too late. It's this judgment energy. Like, by that point, you realize you can't even see your head. Your reflection. You finally look in the mirror to see your reflection, and you can't even find your head. I don't know. Again, this is this off the hinge energy. This is this person who's just in this mental instability. A lot of protection because this person is, you probably, I don't know, this person probably has a doll or something like that, a voodoo doll that they use. Um, they probably have a voodoo doll that they used. Let's see. But I'm getting, like, the download that I got was like, they are doing the death magic again, which it just seems so asinine. Yeah, trying to impinge on you some hallucinations. Um, I don't know, with maybe some father or some, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's some father who's like on a DL somewhere, somebody, I don't know, that's having a hallucination. Because again, it doesn't work here, you know. Yeah, this person, whoever this is, like, they sabotage themselves, is what I'm saying here. Like, this person sabotaged themselves, right? They, I don't know, they feel like some type of like minority with respect to like what they like to do in secret, all that DL stuff, that is what literally separated them from the dream that they wanted to live. It's kind of like if someone had dreams of being famous, they didn't think that they could be as famous as they wanted to be if people knew about their sexual preference, which doesn't make sense. And they felt like, oh, okay, well, if I can find a human sacrifice, then I can continue to live in secret. I can still have this secret life. And then I won't be exposed because I sacrificed somebody else. Maybe that's something that they were doing with the Freemasons. Listen, I can't make this up. Maybe there's also something that their grandparents possibly struggled with. Okay. So not their father, but their father's father or their mother's father or something like that. A grandfather of theirs. Maybe that's something they didn't even know about. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Who else is out here doing this? Who else is out here doing this negative energy work? Yeah. I don't see why people don't understand that it's like your own anger and insecurities and lack of get it together. you know, it's like the lack of being. Yep, this matriarch, this mother energy that came out in the reading earlier. So she won't stop. This person who is also confused about their, sexual identity, like whether or not they like men or women, or I don't see them liking women. I just don't see that. Yeah. Maybe that's what other people are recognizing too. They're like, yeah, this isn't just the, like a swift into a relationship or someone, leaving someone behind or this or that and the other. It's kind of like, it's more so that this person has all of these secrets, or these people have all of these secrets. Oh yeah. And so, they again, when you hate yourself so much, this is literal like self-hatred. These people are only cruel because they don't love themselves. Like they hate themselves for who they are. And so instead of offing themselves, they'd rather just spew this negative energy to other people. Yeah, and keep doing whatever they're doing in the dark. Somebody's using some heavy drugs in the dark, like behind closed doors, or maybe someone else is telling about that. Like this person's constantly, you know. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about somebody who likes to have a nightcap, but we're talking about somebody who like needs it to go to sleep, who needs, drugs and alcohol to start their day, who needs it to end their day, who needs it to get them through the middle of the day, to get them to the next part of the day. Like it's that type of energy. So this is like real addictive. In some instances, it's like, oh, I have to do spell work. Oh, I have to do spell work, which is so weird. But I guess, we can't, people are addicted to whatever they want to be addicted to, whether or not it's real. You know what I mean? It's like the gambler who's addicted to winning the jackpot. Like, are they really winning the jackpot? No, then because people wouldn't know them as a gambler, right? It's like people that sit around like this and they wonder why. Listen, that human sacrifice was a failure. That's what this card is. It said right here. It went right there on top of it. It says that human sacrifice was a failure. That's because they're a failure. What do you expect failures to do but fail? I'm just saying. It's almost kind of like there is no, like, I don't know. This is like it's a street. If you can see the picture of this, but I feel like it's like the streets is dark. Be careful out there, yo. There's somebody walking way back here too. It's almost like someone believed that like they could follow your path and like follow behind you and follow your path or something like that. But what they didn't realize is like you can't be on somebody else's journey. Like you cannot, that's just not how it works. No one was born, even twins, even conjoined twins. I had started to do a reading on that. I had all these notes about conjoined twins and how like even conjoined twins have differences of what they like and what they don't like. Like you can't think for somebody else, even if your brain is literally connected and never, it's fused together with the other person's brain. You still can't think for them. I don't know. It's like, it's almost kind of like you have to explain everything in like over explain everything in grave detail to the extent that is, almost impossible for people to think that you would need to know why you need to leave somebody else alone. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, why does anybody have to explain that? Like, no matter what you do, no matter what you thought you did, no matter what you may have been able to do with other people, I don't care if this was your conjoined twin and you had the same brain. You ain't going to pull it off here. It's just not, this is not the one or the two. It's not, no, it's count as high as you need to go. It's none of those things. Yeah. That's what everybody's talking about and speaking about right now. That's what's being communicated more than anything right now is this matriarch's failure, this human sacrificial failure, and how this is the luxury that they live, that they was telling you was so grand with all of this, stuff that you was supposed to leave, this rock star life. Yeah, that they claim they was going to do, off of this empress, or, they were saying that they were the empress or something like that. This person with their head, they can't even see themselves. They're completely defeated. Yeah. There's nothing coming for them. This is ended for them. Like it happened when they decided not to take their own journey. Does people not get that? When they decided not to be them, when they gave up on focusing on what they really wanted and decided that they needed to sacrifice someone else in order to be who they are intended to be. That was their biggest problem. Their biggest, yeah. Their biggest disappointment has been to themselves. It's almost kind of like they want you to care. They say, well, this person doesn't care. The collective doesn't care what happens to us. How can the collective care about someone who doesn't care about themselves? We're not going to fight you to love you. Like, how can we care about someone who does not care about themselves? That's just like it. Let's say you walking down the street, you see some crazy person trying to run themselves in the middle of the street. You going to stop them? You gonna stop them? What if you stop them? Okay, let's say you go ahead and do the big hearted thing and you stop them from running themselves in the middle of the street, right? And they go right back and try to do it again. How long are you gonna stand there and waste your time? Because there's that whole thing, like, be a good person, but don't waste your time proving it. Don't waste your time proving that you are a good person. You will just continually be disappointed. Look at that. You ain't in that. Yeah. You're not in that. Like, whatever these people's plight is, whatever their issue is, that's not really your concern. What are they up to now? This secret society is up to something. They keep showing their face. Oh, there's this animal attack that's put them in this drought. They're knowing now, like, maybe somebody's connecting dots or going back through communications or something and seeing how, like, okay, the easy target, you know, to poison this person, like, they're seeing how, like, that was stopped. Like, there's no way to do that. There's a drought in that aspect. Yeah. Yeah. They can't imprison someone at this point. You know, their only resort is to exile someone, you know, that's I guess needing to be exiled, because you can't, you know, it's kind of like you can't exile someone who's not even in. And that's the thing. I remember I was saying the way that things come back. It's like there was this whole period of time where it was like you were totally illusioned and didn't know what was going on and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the backfires work the same way, right? This person doesn't really recognize or see when they're being deserted. They're not really paying attention to the markers or the time frame or whatever. Yeah, it's being seen by everybody else though, too. I'm getting, like, even the people that they, you know, this download person, like, everybody's seeing it, but they're not. They're not. They think that they may even think that they're still, you know, out here, you know, making the best. They coming up blank is what Spirit's saying. Like, they feel like they're being productive because they're putting forth an effort, but it's like you're still putting an effort, put forth an effort in the wrong things. Look, see? Something that's not appropriate, right? What does Judaism mean? I have another set of cards that have that, but I don't really let's see, what does that mean? Spiritual and religious practice that emphasizes reverence for nature, a connection to the natural world, and a pursuit of wisdom. So they weren't in pursuit of any wisdom. They were in pursuit of everything that's opposite of that, like everything unnatural, everything that emphasizes like dominance versus reverence, like dominance over, or let's see, I want an antonym of reverence. I hate this phone. Like admiration, respect. So this person doesn't have any respect for people either. Like, I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, how could you put a person in a group and assume that if they had no respect for, like, the people that they should love and care about, like, how could you expect them to have respect for you? How could you expect them to actually be able to show you the same energy? That's what this Freemasons group is realizing. Maybe they're experiencing some type of celestial faith, but having this psychic wounding trauma as well. Because they have to realize that they've been stumped and, bamboozled and, all these things that come into play, right? They would have to be able to acknowledge that part of everything for themselves as well, right? So that's maybe something that's happening within the group, which is why things are getting so hairy, is what I heard. Hairy, like getting so difficult right now. Why it's maybe why maybe it's something about the benefactor, like they have to claim the right benefactor. Yeah, that's this person just has to be accountable, is what I'm saying. Like they just have to be accountable, you know, no matter how much it may hurt them to acknowledge the fact that they were wrong or they did bad. Like yeah, that truth and discernment and poison is out here again. So the fact that they tried to poison people's mindset about you, and they sat in that leadership position, like it's like you're the one who even started this fire, who even tried to get this person to be ended. Yeah, wow. It's like, to the glory be the victor. I mean, everybody sees who achieved what. Yeah, there's maybe even some like snooping, like, can this person read? Like maybe that's why they got the spells wrong. I don't know. And it's kind of almost like this person literally, versus forgiveness, like they would rather, take their own life than to ask for your forgiveness. Decidedly so. Like they don't want anybody to see them that way. And I mean, it is what it is. People go the way they want to go, unless somebody puts them on blast before they get there, right? But essentially, this person also sees that of being a way to teach people that as long as I take my own life, you can't. Oh wow, this person feels like, well, you won't have the glory over me because I'll just leave the planet and you'll be left. And so that's another way this person feels like they'll achieve this success in leaving other people to handle and deal with their karma, because it's like, well, then I'll just never have to face them. So that's what somebody is thinking, like I just never have to face them. Wow. Wow, this teacher who should have been trying to learn, this person who was trying to achieve whatever, that's, didn't learn this lesson of forgiveness and is contemplating, ending their lives. Like that is a part of the live and learn, right? This person may be an entertainer of some sort, or performer, or maybe it's because they couldn't perform, like, I don't know, some tasks with respect to like keeping you in some type of abusive relationship. Yeah, until you were old, like that was the lesson for them, was like, I don't, well, that was supposed to be the lesson for you. I don't know, but you learned your lesson, like that self-love lesson. Yeah. You were like, and you're going to keep it until you're old. It's not one of those, like, I'm not learning till, there's a difference. There's someone who's learning the lessons and keeping them until as they grow older, right? And then there's someone who doesn't want to learn any lessons because they feel like, I don't know, they either feel like they don't need to learn anything. What's the purpose? It's very like, kind of like, well, I don't care energy. Yeah. Because they won't be able to, again, it's that forgiveness lesson in in taking their own life. Like, decidedly so. Like, if that's what they feel like is going to do whatever they need to do. Ooh, I got this heavy too. There's this energy of them being spiritually audited. So somebody's being spiritually audited right now. Ooh, they don't want that to be known. Somebody is being spiritually audited right now by this watcher guardian energy. And that's also a part of it. There's a lot of spiritual questioning taking place. So somebody maybe, it's, hmm, hmm, maybe being questioned, like spiritually questioned about an affair with a grandparent. Like maybe that was a part of the deal that came out in the other reading, like somebody sleeping with, it's like your ex sleeping with your mother or your father. It's that kind of energy. That was something that they did to try to enforce more power. It's kind of like, oh well, if this is this person's father or this is this person's mother and I'm their ex-lover, then together we can recreate their energy, or we'll have the power to freeze out their energy or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. Like, or to like stunt your energy or something like that, like freeze you out is what I got. Like that was a lesson. Maybe this was for masculine energy on how to be celibate. Maybe that was like the part of the lesson, was the reason why that was part of your existence. It was exposed. Yeah. Hmm. Maybe even they found this out like about a friend too. Like friends trying to do things like the same thing, like, oh, I'm going to sleep with my, my friend's ex to try and see if I can use their energy. Ooh, yeah, this is those people in that cult group. So yeah, maybe there's an actor that's involved in this. Mm, mm. And a doctor who are lovers. Wow. Yeah. So the physical limitation that whomever this was that was supposed to do that, who's like on the DL that tried to human sacrifice the collective, whomever this person was, um, or maybe there's a sibling. Okay, there's a sibling here that's also like there's the secret agenda, or like maybe there was a secret agenda of like imposing this domestic abuse energy. Hmm. But it's like their physical limitation, like they wanted to physically limit you by way of domestic abuse. So again, they wanted someone that you were with to like beat you senseless, essentially. Like that was the spell work that they did. They wanted you to get in toxic abusive relationships so that you would be like so severely harmed or damaged that it would put you into some type of physical limitation. This is a sibling. Hmm. They may also like they may be all sharing the same energy. Yeah, because they all wanted something like if it wasn't gonna be this, it was gonna be like so much suffering. You know what I mean? So much suffering. Like that's why they're experiencing this poverty trauma themselves, because they were so greedy. Like they just didn't want you to have anything. And it's like, well, that's why they have nothing. Like no one is envious of someone unless they actually have it. So if someone talks about somebody else not having money, it's because they know at any given moment, they know that they could never, they know that if they lose everything, they won't have nothing. And they'll have no way of rebuilding that for themselves. That's where these people live, in that like lack mindset and energy, which makes them greedy toward other people, whether it be, oh, this person, more people like them than me because I look different than them. Like you not realizing that like that may be the thing that saves you from getting your heart broken, but because you see this as a problem, now the fact that you weren't going to get your heart broken is no longer at play, because you're being envious and jealous of someone that was made differently than you for their purpose, not for yours. You see what I'm saying? Your purpose of being, let's say lighter skinned or darker skinned was for the purpose of you to be attracted by the right person. But you're so stuck on the fact that you want to be lighter skinned or darker skinned that now you've lost your focus. Your focus should always be on the great things about yourself, not on what someone else is doing or having or establishing. Yeah. Don't be worried about other people's aesthetic, because it ain't always what it looked like. I mean, are we not seeing this? Are we not seeing this play out just in with the people that we know to have enough money? So if they feel like money is everything, then why are these people in the celebrity world's lives in shambles? They can't find a soul to mate with for the rest of their lives to save their life, right? So why do people think that it's about money is what's going like kids have that? Yeah, because I felt like these people, these human sacrifices, was for money. And it's kind of like the same people you're trying to run with are showing you and telling you they broke. Showing you, telling you it's the same game. Showing you and telling you like it's about having the right priorities. Because you lose everything. Look at Smokey. And the funny thing about it is I know the demon that listen. I know who his third party is myself. I know exactly who that third party is that's pressing that nasty negative energy into his life, and that's impeding upon his presence. And for something like this to come out so late in the game, it's kind of like maybe these people never did the spiritual work. Like clearly they haven't, right? Because so much stuff comes back later, and it's kind of like, so they never got a hold of their demons. Are you telling me that they never got a hold of these demons? They obtained this wealth, this popularity, this celebrity, this status, etc., financial this and everything there, right? But they never learned how to like keep their weenie inside their pants. So much so now that they can't even have people come clean the dirty clothes. It's wild and wicked to me to even be alleging that this is how people conduct themselves at such an old age too. It's kind of like, dang, even the allegations, if they're not true, it still isolates people, right? Right? it starts to make you think like, oh, was it, was I wrong? Was I wrong for thinking great of this person? Was I wrong for, this? And then that's when we start in our own heads to like persecute or torture this person. But it's like, in reality, everybody has demons. Everybody needs to heal. It doesn't matter what country you're from, what status you have, or what status you don't have, right? Where you don't live, It has nothing to do with any of that. Because you can be up today and down tomorrow. And that goes for everybody, right? From the lowest of the lows to the highest of the high. It does not matter where you sit. Because it's going to get you where it gets you. And people may find, joy in seeing other people hurt. And, they don't care if it's their family, their friends, their loved ones, all the people that they fake love. They don't care who it hurts, right? But the reality is when it actually hits right back to home, the place where they never thought that it would get to. That's why some people are facing what they're facing, right? This is so sad for these people. I mean, everything that we see out here completely and totally. There's somebody in the military, either the Air Force or Navy or something like that was also used as a flying monkey in this energy. Who's also kind of lost their identity, like I don't know. Yeah, they lost their identity by just like being a bystander, feeling, I don't know. They don't even know what to feel. Okay, what else? Yeah, they don't know what to feel. They don't, whomever this military person is, yeah, lost civilization, oppression. Yeah, they're just sitting there. I don't know. They're worried about how it's going to affect their, I don't know, their post or like their, whoever, like wherever they, their platoon. I don't know. They're worried about how it's going to affect their image within this organization, because they know that the things that they've done or the things that they took part in to be, in a human sacrifice energy, they know that it was just wild. It was just crazy. It was just stupid. Look at that fanatical faith. And fanatical faith, right? To be a spinster of love, to hold back love, to not be a good person, basically. Holding back love, why would you do that? What's the point? There are people who aren't deserving of it, so it's like you don't even have to hold it back. You just don't have it for them, right? There's a difference. Maybe that's what some people aren't realizing too. Like there's a difference between holding back love. It's like, oh, I love this person, but I just want to find fault. I want to find a reason to not love them. That's what holding back love does, right? Wow. Wow. Maybe even someone's realizing like that there was this they wanted whatever you learned or whatever you saw as you grew up, as far as like the identity of like what a husband is supposed to be, or what a wife is supposed to be, etc., etc. Like they wanted you to pretty much just like feed off of that energy. Like whatever you saw, they wanted you to repeat it. Okay, whatever you saw when earlier on, they wanted you to kind of stay in that energy of like, oh, love has to be obsessive, love has to be, look a certain way, love has to be, and that's a part of that that disaster that they've created from all this magic-based work here. Because you believe in a non-possessive love. Yeah, you don't want anybody to be possessed. Yeah, no. Why would you want to be possessed? Like, I feel a lot of people grew up accepting that husbands cheat, and so then that made them feel as though like, well, I should be able to cheat on my wife kind of energy. I saw another YouTube about something like that too. It was like this wife and husband who he's a pastor or whatever, but they met when they were teenagers, and she was just, I don't know, it was just the whole wrong message. Because it's giving hope to people out there to stay in toxic cycles of where their father cheated on their mother and their mother cheated on, and it just keeps going on and on and on. It's like the song that never ends. It just goes on and on, It just goes on and on. This went right up towards that celibacy. It's a lot of people don't want to believe that too. They want to think that, well, just because this person and I have connected physically, it's kind of like, no, if you have connected physically with someone and you allowed yourself to give yourself to someone in that way, and they allow themselves to get in your space and they didn't handle you right, you need to leave it. You shouldn't be on the in and outs with somebody. I just don't believe that that's true. You know, the only reason why is because I've heard enough stories from enough wonderful, lovely couples who have told me about how they met and their first date never ended. They were still on it when they was out shopping with me for the house. They're not their first house at that. You see what I'm saying? And these may have even been people who they had children that already grew up and they adopted more children, you know, to have children of their own together. It's, you know, you never know, you know, but I was fortunate enough to get all of those stories, you know, to be able to be a part of hearing all of these wonderful things that other people have been able to experience it with true love. And I feel like that's what, you know, people are failing to realize too. Like you can have all the money in the world, but there's nothing like true love for self, right? To be able to place your own value on yourself that goes beyond money. Because money ain't going to keep nobody faithful to you. Money is not going to keep nobody doing anything. Nothing keeps anybody doing anything except for themselves. So that reality of thinking that you can control anybody for any purpose or reason is it's stupid. They wanted people to stay in this energy of like unrequited love, but they realized that like whatever they did in that process, like in the earlier ages when, you were a younger female or when they were a younger female or whatever. Mm-hmm. I wonder what this Franciscan mysticism is all about. I'm curious as to what that's about. Franciscan mysticism. I swear I hate this phone. And I just don't want to go to the other room for my iPad and my laptop. I do not charge it. Friends, I wasn't planning on getting back, doing another reading too. Mysticism. Emphasizes experiential knowledge of spiritual things, finding God in creation and advocating for universal connection and love, especially towards the marginalized. Yeah, it's that whole servant to a servant. It's kind of like this energy to try and like, I don't know. There's this I don't know, this is you, collective. You sought out like being an activist for other people, even fighting the good fight. Like that's what you believe in. You believe that everybody, that so desires it and goes out for it. It's like you can't catch a fish if you're not fishing, right? You can't catch if someone says they're not looking for love, then you probably won't find it, because you definitely have to be looking for it, because that's a part of your alignment. Like if you're not looking for something, then it's kind of like a horse that, I don't know if you've ever ridden a horse before, but like you kind of have to keep your eyes in the direction that you're going. Just like with all the other things. Like if you're not going in that direction, then of course you don't see that. And you're not going to receive that. I just want to be clear. If you're not closing up your legs and figuring yourself out and healing first, you're not going to get the man. You can't be like, oh, and I'm in the back and forth and we going through drama. If you got drama, you're not in a divine relationship. Divine doesn't have drama in it. I'm just saying, between you and your person. I'm not saying people won't be on the outside looking in trying to cause some type of disaster. I'm just saying, if the problem is between the two of y'all, that's the problem. The two of y'all together. If there are two people who constantly going back and forth and breaking up and making up, that's ignorance, baby. That's all that is. That's you being ignorant. That's not this is not a twin flame. This is not a soulmate. That's none of that. That's toxic, unhealthy, karmic behavior. I don't know why people try to fool themselves, It's weird. It's like there may have been some issue too, where people were trying to say you had these nutritional or food issues, like that you were in a glutton energy, but I feel like, no, you just take the time to indulge. Like I said, there's a difference between someone who said, oh, it's Mother's Day, so I'm going to have a drink, right? Versus someone who's having drinks every day to cope. There's a complete difference. It's kind of like they're trying to mix things up. Like, oh, if this person drinks, then they're an alcoholic. No, they had a nightcap. They didn't need it. They desired it and they had it. I don't know. There's something about that. I feel like people don't realize too that like you've earned everything that you're receiving. That gestation period that came up in that reading the other day, it's like once you've already went through all of your healing process and doing all of your work, there's literally nothing that can stop you. Nothing at all. It's essentially it's kind of like, yeah, there's no yeah, yeah, it's kind of like there's no flood, there's no, storms that are you're gonna face. There's no being lost at sea. There's no being drowned either. It's kind of like no. All of that gets lost in itself, right? Because once you transition, it says miscarried or died at birth. So once you transition and start your transformation and become that new person and step into your highest self where you are now currently, there everything else, all those other things get lost. They get behind you. They completely fall victim to their own situation. And yes, it is about becoming more natural because it's like where you have to press and force things, that's where you need to let it go again, because you're only going to find yourself in some type of betrayal. I'm just being honest. It's one thing if you have a telepathic connection with someone and you guys haven't connected and made agreements, but if you out here and you just gave yourself to somebody and you're hoping that they're going to come through, that's not how it works. I'm just being honest. People may not like to hear that at all. And it's that whole like mindset of like, well, why wouldn't you value making sure that they were ready to make the commitment so that you could stand firm and that there wouldn't be a separation? Because I don't believe that couples that are supposed to get together separate. That's something that's a social myth. That's a social, misogyny. Like those, the people who I don't know who want people to agree that like, oh, I hung in there with him and he never had no kids outside the marriage, so I guess I let him cheat until finally he was ready to not cheat no more. Like, how do you know? That's that's who this person is. Did they just get too old to cheat? People don't like them. Like, it's not necessarily them. You know what I mean? Especially when they got the free range to do it. Oh yeah. Yeah, they didn't, whoever this is did not want this. They are brokenhearted because they did not want this town beauty to have this public recognition. They didn't want people to see past the pretty face or the pretty attitude. Um, they didn't want people to see, they wanted people to look past the transformation. That was everything is just like so obvious though. It's so obvious. And they wanted to see people as somebody that they could physically abuse or sexually abuse, like use them for the fact that they were, that's what they wanted. Maybe that's what they were doing when they took place in those acts. Like, if it was someone having an affair with somebody's mother, if it's a baby daddy having an affair with their baby mama's mama. Baby's mama. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. Yeah. So at the end of the day, they feel like this was an accident. They do, which it was for them, decidedly so. They feel like it was an accident that you became this mystic too, but it's not like it was something that wasn't already told to them. These people have had outer body experiences themselves as well, and near death experiences as well that have taught them like that they should not be doing what they're doing. Like even if it's just watching and saying nothing, see something, say something. So essentially, whatever ends up torturing them to their end it is what it is, right? Oh wow. I got that energy too. Like maybe someone's in this energy of like fasting, in some way, shape, or like fasting to help themselves, like to overcome this loss or something like that. Mm, maybe planning for somebody's childbirth. That's what I'm getting to. Like, again, I don't know why these people decide to do these weird things, but what they don't understand is like, there's a point where it becomes, the cycle changes. I think that's just the hardest thing because it's coming up on them. So they feel like it's quick, but it's kind of like because they spent all this time being in this illusion. You know, they spent all this time being in this illusion. Maybe they're also being illusioned because the emperor kind of moves in silence, right? He does what he does when he does what he does, right? He has that authority. Ooh, wow. Yeah. So that may be also like a part of like their issue at this time too, is because they don't know Jack. And they're not going to. That's what makes it even harder for them to do any of this too. Like they don't know what the identity of someone who would be your friend is. So they can't fake and send in copycats or anything like that anymore because you know the truth. It's like they can't paint out a picture like, oh, this person is good enough to be your friend, or this person is a friend, or they know that like everybody gets caught up. Yeah. Any and everybody that kind of goes off on this tangent trying to be the new, you know, wisecrack is what I trying to be the new wisecrack. Anything else? Damn. Yep. They're being told to make a truce or face your tower. Those are the only options out here. They've been told that so many times. Make a truce or face your tower. What's this? Ooh-wee. That's what's been told to this gourmet chef. That chef came right back out here. It's like, look, everything points to it. All the signs, all the evidence, all the information, etc., etc. The hacker energy too that came out earlier too. Whomever this was, that's like, I'm guessing maybe somebody's told like, okay, you know, we see that they've completed that cycle. I don't know if they were hacking your dreams or hacking like your Akashic records or something like that. Trying to see how full, you know, you really were in the circumstance and like how happy you really were here. Like if you were really in this energy of gaining everything. Yeah. I cannot make it up. Yes, that's exactly what is being gained here. Hello. 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 Yeah, that's making whomever this is like, yeah, I'm just retreating. I don't feel like they have enough power. Like they don't have enough of anything that it takes to be able to see justice in this. Because I'm just saying that because his eyes are blindfolded, so like they can't see justice, let alone like get to it. Like that's even further away than the first part of the plan. Oh wow. Yeah. So. All this energy showing back up from the earlier read too. Yep. Wow. Yep. Whomever this is just they're not. It's so weird because it comes out exactly as it's said, but then this person is constantly, well, I don't see the science and how, you know, I don't see myself. I don't see this. I don't see what you're saying. I don't see how that's me. This person has a hard time seeing themselves, like I said. I don't see what science they're talking about. I don't see how the science adds up to this being me. I don't see where I did that. And it's like, everybody else is looking at this person like, are you okay? You're like, clearly you're not. You're not. You're just not. You're not okay. And that's okay. Just don't come over here with that. Go be unawakened somewhere else. You know, this person's soul is being judged. That's what's happening. This is the person under spiritual, this is the person being spiritually audited right now. This is the person being spiritually audited right now. And everything is showing up like this is you. Like you see how everything keeps going through the center? It's like hitting the dead center. Like this is you. Wow. That's the only thing that's got them a little sad is because now that makes them a bit worried, right? Well, duh. Yeah, they know that justice and love in all areas, in all ways. Like it's just an abundance of love from the universe to you. Yeah. I'm telling you, like this hacker, whoever this hacker is, told them like, I already see it. Like, yeah. Especially maybe from people who were religious and Christians, who have understood now, like why you're a spiritual person, like why the collective is a spiritual person. Yeah, it's like there's something like, oh, okay, I see why this person switched so quickly, it wasn't as quick as we thought. Yeah, it wasn't as quick as it looked like to everybody else because they were never in on the journey. The journey has been yours and yours alone. Every single step, every time you snuck out, every time you snuck back in. Like, it's all yours, right? What you did when you was out, you know, everything. Look at that. Everything. That's what this group can see too. I feel like the higher ups can see that too. They've already explained like this is going to be a successful victory. And you're going to get some sex in this victory too. So, I mean, congratulations. Decidedly so. You've manifested that, right? Oh, that was the other thing before I started this reading. It's like faith without works. Like, you can't say like, I want this and I want that, but you don't actually go after it too. Again, that's the whole thing to do with like people saying, get excited, lightweight excited about a love reading, even though they keep denouncing love. Like, yeah, that's not yours. Like, if you are not aligning yourself with it, it's not coming for you. If you have aligned yourself with it, that's how the building gets built, right? That's how you build. So that manifestation. So this is looking good to me. This is looking so good. All right, I hope that this has been helpful and insightful in some way, shape, or form. Ultimately, this is just a confirmation that like some people still ain't learn their lessons, and that's their lesson, right? Live and learn. It is what it is. Catch you in the next one. Later.